being a techie person, you can never get the simple stuff. I've noticed that. Seriously. All right, guys. So anyhow, let's talk a little bit about Azure and some of the tricks I've had used to get into these systems and rescue them, bring them back to life. And now some of the stuff I'm not going to call stable yet because I've gotten different results with it. But we're going to take a look at the serial terminal. And man, we are really going way back here to what, the 80s at this point, when you're talking about a serial terminal. So really, the serial terminal is there only for diagnostics. However, with a little trick, you can open up a PowerShell session inside of your VM. And the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be an internet facing, but you do need to be into the portal for this to work. So, I got a whole different machine up. Let's see what happens. So I'm over, oh, you know what, I didn't turn my zoom in on. Let me turn on my ability to zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. There we go. All right, so I'm over here on one of my machines that, let's just pretend one of my students locked out. So down here under the support and troubleshooting is the serial console.
When did they add that?
Oh, I have no idea. It's just one of those things I'm looking at, it's like, oh, I wonder what I can do with this. Now this is the funny thing. I'm going to go ahead and go back into this VM real quick. And let me, notepad. Now this is the one, whoops, this is the one that's a little questionable. I have actually been able to shut that down from externally without going in. And this morning, while I was, at my Navy job, I can't let anybody online know this, I was actually running through this entire code set, because you always go through your code the day of your presentation to discover what Microsoft changed overnight. And now all of a sudden it doesn't work. So we're going to see if it's working again. But yeah, sometimes I have to take stuff down. Okay, we are inside of the serial console. All right, you really are limited on what you're capable of doing here. But again, this is for diagnostic purposes only. I mean, real quickly, I can get in and restart that machine if I have to, which is one of the neat things. But what I'm going to do real quickly here, oops, go out. Forgot to grab this. Let's get the process ID of Notepad. So get process name is going to be Notepad, and its ID number is 4152. Let's see. Like I said, a few nights ago, worked like a charm. This morning, didn't know what I was talking about. Wait, what is that ID? I'm sorry?
4152.
Thank you. Glad someone's paying attention because I'm not. All right, so let's go ahead and try it. Kill. Was it
4152?
152. Let's see if it works. Oh, probably would help if, nope, unrecognized command. Well, right there it says K, buddy. So this is a different error than I had today. So I guess they're playing with it. Today it was I can't recognize the process ID. Now it just doesn't recognize the command. But the one I'm
listed first. There's an L there.
Hmm? 4152.
Oh, you missed
Oops.
the number.
41. Oh, we got to talk about the sensitivity of this thing. Look at that. For lowercase processing. Oh, that's for wait. No, that's not list. That's lower. That's not. That's the lower processing. Hey, did find it though. Cool. Let's see if we can kill it now. Kill 4152. There we go. Successfully terminated the process. So let's go jump back in, and it's gone. So yes, I can kill things that get locked for people if it's preventing us from doing what we need to do. But really, the restart functionality is the cool part, and this other thing that I'm about to show you guys. So I'm going to type in CMD. And I can see it created a new command channel, CMD0001. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and do a ch-sn to command 0001. Let's see what happens. It is going to ask me to authenticate in, so I do have to have an account on that machine. Now again, this is not an internet facing, well this one is, but it doesn't have to be. So, yes, this is actually my username. Whoops, spelled incorrectly. You do have to watch this thing. Okay, we're going to have to bug out of this thing. Because if you type two characters that are the same, it doesn't like it too well. Oh yeah, when I do a copy paste, you're going to love what it does. It's very finicky. That's the thing about these terminals they're creating on inside of a web page. They're just not stable like how we're used to them. All right, let's try this again. Oops, it is ch-sn, and this time CMD0002. And if I can actually not mess this up, IT Rockstar. And password. Hope that was the right password. Unable to authenticate. Well, what the heck? Oh! I talked in the right one, sorry. Give me another channel in. Okay. CH Tech SN CMD 003. Did I, oh, I did miss a 0. CH SN. I usually type CH wrong. Say what?
Does the umpire work? Can you see previous commands?
You did CN instead of
Oh,
CH.
jeez. I'm batting 100 here tonight. Well, this is a test to see if you guys are paying attention.
Well, it's working.
All right, one more time. Let's see if we can get in here. IT Rockstar. You know, oh, there it is. I was wondering if I reset the password during the trial. Okay, guys, we're in the command prompt that's inside this machine, but the cool part is, like the other command prompt, look at what you can do. Now, I'm in a much more familiar and safer environment that I can play in, and of course, let's see. Oops, I don't have a notepad process up. Let's see if this one's going to let me kill it today.
That's just PowerShell console, right?
Yet the PowerShell console is all that it is. But it is a neat way of getting in, and when I actually don't screw up my typing, it's a little faster than the method I was using to help reset some of these passwords.
Can you run PowerShell instead of command.exe? You ever tried it?
No, I haven't, but we'll try it when, let me finish this up and we'll give it a try.
Try PowerShell.exe.
Yeah, I don't think
Should
that's...
be in the path.
Yeah, but that wasn't one of the listed commands, but we'll try it. So get process, name, notepad. Let's see if we can even find it. There it did. Let's see if we can kill it off now. So I can kill off things that shouldn't be running. Now, one thing I forgot to try out that I kind of thought about today, can I start a process? Can I inject something in? So let's give that a try real quick. So the actual process name, if I'm not mistaken, is notepad.exe. Start process. Name will be notepad.exe. So no, I have not tried this before. I'm just seeing if it'll let me do it. Nah, it doesn't. Oh.
Because it's going to try to start in that session, you have to start it in the window.
Well, I'm just seeing if it's possible. Yeah, if it's possible, because I'm in the same. Technically, I'm the same user. You know, I get a lot of questions. Well, can you start things for other users? No, it doesn't work that way. It's called impersonation, and that would be bad for all of us. Because if we can impersonate somebody, that means our users have no accountability of, you know, well, not that your users try to do anything wrong, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave this shell open, but we'll try that before I close it down, okay? Need to leave it open for something here in a minute. All right, so, all right, guys, for a few requirements, you do need to be at least a virtual machine contributor or higher in order to access this. It does have to, your VMs have to be deployed with Resource Manager. You know, the classic ones are still there, but let's grow up, people. It's been a few years, right? And again, I'm normally not somebody who gravitates to the bright new shiny object that any tech company puts out. So this one's been out there for a while now. All right, you do need to have your boot diagnostics enabled, which is generally enabled by default when you do use the Resource Manager for your deployments. All right, quick test for that. My ice, which blessedly is not frozen right now. You know, I don't know if I have authenticated in. Yep, good, I did. Okay, so anyhow, guys, you can see it is enabled for, well, we're actually operating off of a different VM right now, but obviously since I got in, it worked for us. And it comes back true, that particular, oh, that's cool. PowerShell 1 was not found. Oh, my bad, my bad. Probably helps if I change my resource group names to the backup machine. There we go. So that property comes back true. That means your boot diagnostics are enabled. All right, and you can actually find them out right down here. But I don't want to leave the screen or may reset my terminal connect, my serial connection. So I'm just going to hold it right here for now. All right. Now, one of the more common problems I have is that people get smart and they change the password of the account, the domain admin account. And yeah, I should put in a second one, but I tell them not to do it. It's always fun to see who does not listen. So the problem with it is now I don't know the password. So actually, you know what? I do have to leave this console to get to it. Let's try run command. All right, and ooh, am I in the wrong one? Oh, there it is. Sorry, that's the next one. Reset password. So here's where we can actually reset the password. Now I'm not going to take the time to actually do this. It will fail because it doesn't work if your VM's a domain controller. Well, that really didn't help me out too much there. Now did it? So we can try the run command. Now with the run command, I'm able to inject code into PowerShell on that VM and let it run from the outside world. A few restrictions here. You're going to have some limitations on your output, so about 4,096 bytes. It takes at least 20 seconds for it to actually run. So yeah, it might take a little time there, but you know what? It's better than how much time it takes for me to redeploy one of these machines. All right, remember your scripts are going to be running as system on Windows, so they're not actually going to be running in the context of the currently logged on user, which again is a good thing. All right, you can only do one at a time, and it's not going to be interactive. You will see output. All right, you'll see what your input's going to be. You'll see output, but it's not going to be like my authenticated ICE session I'm running right now, when I can actually communicate with those virtual machines. But be aware, it could take a little bit of time for some of these to run. So let's go to run command. Yeah, I'm not going to say this. And what we have here are the different commands you can run. But the one that's interesting to me right here is run PowerShell script command. And this is where I can paste scripts into here and have them injected into the VM. So let me grab some code here. All right, run command, there we go. And, oh shoot, you know what? I actually need to create a user on this VM before we can do anything. Because, you know, users, I'm not going to do anything to my administrative account here. I'll do this one the old-fashioned way. You guys might remember this. This is called a GUI. It's how people who don't want to work in the IT industry work. No, seriously. So I had a guy, he's now my neighbor. And he took a PowerShell class from me over at Interface. And 6 months later, he came back for the advanced class. Hang on here. Whoops, there we go. He came back for the advanced class, and, you know, I cannot talk and type. All right, he came back, and during the introductions, he said, "Thank you." And I said, "For what?" He goes, "You're right." I said, "I know. What was I right about?" And he said, "Well, when I came here, there was only 2 of us who decided to learn PowerShell." I said, "Okay, how many people are left in your IT department?" He says, "Well, 6 months ago there was 6. Now there's 2. Those 2 outscripted their fellow employees out of a job." So like I said, they wanted to click away, we'll let them do it. Okay, guys. So anyhow, let's take a look here. Now, this is where you got to be careful when you're copying and pasting into the Azure platform. So you guys can see I'm just going to ask for when the passwords were last set for some users here. So let's jump over here. I'm going to go ahead and paste this thing in. And, okay, this one worked out well. It's the shell one we're going to have to watch out for. So you guys can see we have an output window. This is not going to be an interactive session. I can't pipe the output. Excuse me, and I can't receive it into a file or anything like that. So it's good when I need to quickly inject a block of code, maybe to fix a common mistake somebody makes. It looks like it's going to take its full 20 seconds to run, but we will see it. And then we'll jump over to the serial console, and you'll see why that is actually kind of better. This is what I was using. So, oh, there we go. So I can see, for example, Mary Gibson's. Let's see, 134 was the last time that password was reset. All right, going back over to our serial console, which hopefully held itself open. Let's see what happens. Wait for it. There we go. It held. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. And Oliver, do you see anything a little wrong with that? Look at the S's.
Well, you got three of them.
Now this is the thing, I'm going to delete one, so we're going to delete everything to the right of that, so PAS. Alright, is that, let me just make sure nothing else hosed up, there we go. Came back much faster. Better, much better, even though it's a little more finicky. Thing is though, if I have to put a large group of code in there, it's not going to work well for me because I have to proofread every one of those characters. So I've actually just put like one S in there, and it only will do one S instead of two. And when I do a count later on, it's going to triplicate the double C's. So it does, again, still have some of its idiosyncrasies. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do a password reset here. So what I'm going to do is, again, this is my problem. Somebody messed up this particular password for this account. They can't get in, so I'm going to go, whoops, go ahead and get in.
Wow.
All right, so let's see all the issues I have to correct on this one. And you guys can see my little frustration. So I'm going to delete out the C here. Oops, I got to use my
Is there
background.
like a send key?
You got a C, you got an S.
Yeah, I'm hoping to find a better way to do this. But let's get rid of one of those, and I got to retype the A. Yeah, so it's a little, so we say frustrating. Yeah, now look what happened there.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I'm not really happy with this, but when it's only small pieces of code, it works a little bit faster for me. And generally I have a good idea of when I need to leave these sessions wide open. Look what I did for the $signs as well. I have to make sure I know, or I know generally very quickly whom, oops, the term set account.
Set AD account password.
Oh, shoot. And I gotta go through all this again? Thank you. Yeah, I know who I need to leave these.
I mean, I got that.
Is there some way of just type what's on the clipboard?
I'm sorry?
Is there a way of having just type what's on the clipboard?
Yeah, I pasted straight from the clip. That's a problem.
No, I have like
You type it.
how it. Here's the clipboard. Type this for me.
Yeah, I haven't found that one yet, but let me know if you do, because apparently I'm missing a typo in here somewhere. A parameter found that matches parameter name password as plain text. PASSW0 or PASSW.
Is it duplicating line returns?
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't doing that before. All right. No, it's not. It's right against it, so we'll do PASSW0D.
Oh.
Well, give me a break. Something, there's got to be a hidden character in there, to be honest with you. There's got something. But anyhow, under normal circumstances, that does work, except for the little typos, which I find a tad bit on the frustrating side. So let's take a look here. To be honest with you guys, I don't see anything here. There's our send command. Send non-marked.
Push the button.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay. This is
Now
getting
we're
warm.
there. Yeah, I've got nothing. I can use, oh wait, there's might be a function key. No, that's for F8. So yeah, that is a bit of a frustrating thing with that console, but it is faster than the run command. So obviously, neither one of these I find to be the best solution at this time, which is why I was so excited about the invoke AZVM command, which is supposed to work something like invoke command, but yeah, it's not ready for prime time. I can tell you that much. Looks really great on Channel 9, works really bad in the real world. All right, so anyhow, let's try another one here. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly create a script here. All right, not really that advanced of code, but let me see here, and I do need let me do a change on side my code here because I switched virtual machines. Replace in script. Anytime you see a PowerShell 1, replace it with a PowerShell 2. And hopefully that will take care of everything. All right, let's see what happens here. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to save it inside of a variable called data. Now again, guys, I have already authenticated my ICE into my Azure subscription. Microsoft really threw us for a number because what they did about 2 months ago, was it 2 months ago? No, it was actually in December. December, they made a change. You know, they keep updating their modules. So, you know, Max, the one we were just talking to, one of our beloved PowerShell MVP says, oh no, update to the latest one. It's the greatest. It's cool. So I went ahead and updated my Azure modules to the new AZ ones, which work on both Windows PowerShell and PowerShell. and the ability for you to log in with username and password was removed. So I went to the hate page on that one. It was already full of people upset because it broke everybody's code. They have since fixed that in the latest updates. So I was able to provide my subscription ID and another piece of metadata and was able to take my credentials. Wow, that has taken much longer than usual to get these commands back. But I want to show you guys this because there's a little gotcha. There we go. There's a reason why I stored it in the data. It does take a few minutes. So you guys can see there is my data. It did come back. Does anybody see something funny about the actual data that came back from that sim command?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that just one big string?
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a waste. Okay, so anyhow, pipe it over to get member, the message component, which is not showing up right now. Oh, let's get member, which is not showing up. We'll fix that. Hey, when it says status, here's the other thing I want to tell you guys about. That means it actually successfully received something. It doesn't mean your command actually worked. It just meant it received something, okay? All right, so let's take a look. It's actually stored in value is the actual property where it's stored at, message. And right now it's looking better, much, much better. But as always, we check our object types to see what we're working with so we know what kind of data we have. How much data can I garnish from what was just on the screen with that? That would be a 0. It's a string. Nope. Yeah.
Regex.
Regex. Guess what's going to happen? That's the next step. So my next step with this one is I'm going to write a PowerShell commandlet that we can pipe this information to and extrapolate where is a property name and where's a property value, and see if I can get them back into PowerShell objects. So if you guys read Jeff Snover's Monad Manifesto, the document that created this whole thing, one of his goals was, well, because we're using VB script. Anybody have to do VB script?
Yep.
Brothers, I feel your pain, man. I feel it. I used to teach Microsoft's VB script class because I had such a significant investment in automation and VB script. I can't even remember how to read the stuff now. Seriously.
It's right only.
Oh, it's terrible. So here's the thing. One of his goals was that data comes back as a string, but to make it usable, you have to teach your code to read. And we had this new thing called object-oriented programming. Came about 20-some years ago. Yeah, so that's the reason why we're working with objects now, so we don't have to go through that extra step. This just took us back 20 years. So my next step for this is to actually have a commandlet that can be piped to. It will take a look at the dashes because we know every once in a while you get somebody who just doesn't know what they're doing. They put a space in a property name. All right, and based on the length of those dashes, I'll be able to pull out what is data and what's property name, what are property values. The data type I'll never be able to properly recover because they're string. If it's a number, is it a decimal, is it double, is it a single, I don't know. But anyhow, guys, yeah. So the value parameter does again have a couple of neat pieces of consumable information. For example, time, when you receive it from, the message we just took a look at. All right. Here's the documentation. Again, guys, I haven't put this up on the OneDrive yet. I will do it. And Tom will put the code for what I'm showing you guys up for sharing later on, okay? But that's the link out to the documentation of what all that stuff means. So, but we can use this for some remoting purposes. So, just like I showed you guys earlier, we are able to send information. So what I'm going to try and do, guys, is I'm going to try and use the PowerShell 3-way of doing this. So you guys can see I have memory on my machine. I just created a script. It has the using modifier. I saved it in the Azure Code 1. And I am going to go ahead and see if I can recover any data from it. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Again, we'll wait.
Does that let you send a script block?
Yeah, it's a script block.
Can you send
Actually,
a script block object?
Okay, I don't know. Actually, it's not script block. It is a plain script. I'm sorry, that's a here string up there. It's a string that can have carriage returns.
Yeah.
Okay, but as for script block, no, this commandlet, and I look for it, does not have a script block.
You can't. Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing. So that's the reason why I have to go to this method is I have to write the code in this, I have to have the script already made, or I can, in this case, I can make it inside the actual code that's running. So that's a disappointing one right there. This is my other frustration with cloud technology. Although when I tried this, it was not taking that long.
All
All right.
You're over your phone.
Yeah. Now here, no, yeah, that might be it. Okay, now here's the problem, guys. Look at the message. I told you that it will report it succeeded even if you receive an error. Isn't that nice? So you guys can see this doesn't work. It doesn't like the PowerShell 3-way, so we kind of have to use, well, we'll try the PowerShell 2. So we'll go ahead, fire off the same thing again. All right. And this time, we're going to kind of do a mutant way of the PowerShell 2 method. If you guys notice up here, we do have to create a parameter block declaring the memory that we're going to receive it from. But instead of using an argumentless parameter, we have one called parameter, and it creates a hash table. It's a key value pair. The first item, the keys, are the parameter names that I'm sending to. And then these are the values, the pieces of memory I actually want to send over. So it is a little different if you use this one. I have no idea behind the reasoning on this one. You'd think argumentless would have worked just fine. But they never coded it with it. So let's go ahead and we'll fire this one over. And we'll see how the data comes back. And hopefully we get just our little message string there. Maybe next time I'll pre-run these commands so we can fire the results back quickly.
If we'd have had Wi-Fi here, it probably would have helped. Instead of over the phone.
Yeah, what gives? This is Texas. Come on.
It's always a pain in the...
Like I said,
when
here,
you
hold
sign
this
up and
higher.
you get their Wi-Fi, it
This
lasts
is-
for an
this
hour.
thing's freaking
They're
me
gonna
out.
cut
I
you
have an
off.
owl
Maybe
staring
when
at me.
companies do that.
Cut you right off.
BS.
Yeah.
It's got
What
a
do they
360
mean
view
by
on top too.
Starbucks does
That's
it.
awesome.
So
Just give me
Huh?
10.
All these neat toys, but yeah, my wife would kill me if I start buying that stuff. All right, well, everything's going to look okay here when we bring it back. All right, except for that little problem. Does anybody see a problem? We added 10 in, yeah. In other words, it's string. It was accepted as string. So the proper way to do it, guys, is, let me go ahead and fire this off before I even begin. Yeah, but you guys will notice, oops, let me go ahead and run this. The solution to fix that is actually up here in your parameter blocks. And I tried it below when I'm actually sending it, but it's got to be done in the parameter blocks because it sends as string, is what it's doing. So, in order for this, and you guys remember, we always have to check our data because this situation can pop up if you're not careful, maybe a year down the road, if you don't pay attention to your data. So in this case, yeah, we do have to tell it to go ahead and recast it as integer or whatever the acceptable data type is for it to work. So you can see we're going to have a little trouble when if we have to send larger objects in. You might have to break them up into their individual data pieces you actually want to use, which will be a little bit more coding, but it is a way to send. And again, like I said, I'm inside of my locally running ICE right now, and I'm injecting code up into those virtual machines. So what I'm looking at doing with this is when I teach my classes, I do have a OneDrive of all the code that I use to teach the class. So when I make changes, I'm looking at using this as possibly a way that I can, if I do make a change, push those things back up live while I'm talking. And then, of course, when I get to the section I realize had a typo in it, by the time we open up that code, it should already be there, and they'll never know I had a typo. All right, so anyhow, guys, and like I said, if I'm not going to take the time to run this particular one, but you guys can see there, oop, that is the one I just ran, my bad. If I put the casting down here, it didn't work. I'm sorry, down here, it did not work for me. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to a constrained endpoint. So real quickly, what was your question on this one, Tom? If you can do PowerShell on it?
Yeah, instead of command.
Okay, exit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, exit out of that. So we're back. Yeah, we're back into the serial console and PowerShell here.
No, do What'd you do, CH minus SN?
Yeah, well, that's after I created a channel to the command prompt.
Okay.
So yeah, this is not going to work because it's not a recognized command.
Oh, did you do command.exe? Just CMD?
Oh, I see. So you want to do this CMD, and what do you want me to type?
No. I was just wondering if, when you did CMD, did you do
Okay.
CMD.exe or
No,
just
what this
CMD?
does is it creates a channel into the
Okay.
command,
I got it.
the shell inside. So now there's the name. I've got to access that particular channel to get myself to the command prompt. So it wasn't able to recognize PowerShell, so it didn't open up PowerShell's console.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool thought, though.
Yes, it is.
It'd been faster.
That's,
the reason I asked.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So guys, remember with that run command, information is going to be returned to as string, but again, I'm looking to fix that, and I might put it on my blog once I do have the time. Yeah, the time. Where does time go? When I do have the time, but that is something I need to get done. You can only send scripts, so the script block would be nice, but in the demonstration code, you guys can see how I set up a here string. Just remember here strings, which is a string that can take character return, has rules. If you open it with a single quote, it's @ symbol single quote, hit enter. And then the very last line can only be single quote @ symbol. You can also do double quotes. And what happens is when you use a single quote, it literally will keep your variable, your $ variable name. If you use a double quote, it'll take your variable values and put that into the code. If you need to escape out of that, let's say I have a situation where I need to have both numbers or whatever from my machine actually be in the code, but I need a variable name, I go ahead and I use the double quotes, but right in front of the $ for the variable name that has to stay a variable name, put the backtick. That will cancel it out, keep it as a backtick in the here string, okay?
You gotta put backticks on both sides or just?
Nope, just on the leading, here, I'll show you,
Okay.
just on the leading
I
edge.
got you.
Okay, all right. Fine, I won't show you.
No, I understood when I said it.
All right, remember the using modifier, not happening. You got to go with that hash table. Key is the parameter name you're sending into. Value is whatever that piece of memory is on your machine. And also don't forget to cast your variables inside the script block that you're sending, or inside the script you're sending over. All right, one more thing, guys. We're going to play around a little bit with constrained endpoints. And this one's always a favorite because, you know, PowerShell remoting, very powerful stuff, but whom do you have to be in your environment to take advantage of it?
Administrator.
And, or remote desktop users.
Right.
How many of you are going to assign your people straight to those groups? Well, first of all, assigning them to any built-in group is a bad idea because you automatically violate the principle of least privilege right there. That's why we create our customized groups so that we are able to keep them more or less under control. So, let's play a little bit here.
So do you know does everybody know what a constrained endpoint is?
You're about to. Constrained endpoints are neat. They really upset people. So my scenario actually goes back to my time in the trenches with my intern, Timmy.
Timmy.
Now, when I had Timmy McIntern, let's just say I was not the most educated of managers, nor did I realize the value of the principle of least privilege. I just realized the inconvenience that having to do with create all that stuff caused me, and I was more into convenience. My mistake. I'm going to go ahead and create the account for Timmy. Go ahead and give Timmy a password. Yes, I know. You're not supposed to put a password in your code. Just deal with it, guys. This is a presentation. All right, I'm going to go ahead and create a new group called Help Desk Members, and I'm going to go ahead and add Timmy into that particular group. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what is already on this machine. I'm going to take a look at the configuration endpoints that are built on this machine, just so you guys can see. All right. Oh, shoot. I left Help Desk 7 running. Uh-oh. That's okay. I just won't run the code. All right. So what we have here, these are the actual ones that are supposed to be there, the default ones. The top one is how you and I remote in on a 64-bit connection. You guys can see this, the operating system administrators and remote management users. Pretty much for the rest of these, you've got to be in one of those groups. Or guess what? You don't remote. We don't want our people to remote into each other's computers because I don't know about you guys, but I will pass my workload off to other machines so I can play World of Warcraft without any issues. All right, I don't play that game anymore, but seriously, you know, distributed computing, I'll just distribute my workload so I can have more fun. All right, so anyhow, guys, let's see. Let's go ahead and create an endpoint. You guys can see right now I'm on my machine. All right, you guys remember this from earlier. All right, and this is how we get to a one-to-one connection. Now, if I want to enter a remote endpoint, another endpoint, one of those other ones, I actually have to specify. So if you guys take a look at PS session configuration name, this variable that's sitting inside of PowerShell is where I connect to by default. That's why I didn't have to use the configuration name parameter. So what we can do when we're all done with this, we can assign our endpoint name to this variable. We can do it like through Timmy's profile if we have to, so that when Timmy remotes, he never tries to go to the default and never has to type, never has to type what I've got highlighted. It will default into the help desk or whatever it is we're going to give him. All right, so, just to show you guys, here's the 32-bit Windows PowerShell. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to remote in. And again, I am the network administrator, or the domain admin, so I don't have to worry about security. All right, so you guys can see, it works. All right, so let's go ahead and start doing a little bit of restrictions here because Timmy messed up. Bad. Real bad. So I need to start controlling what Timmy does with PowerShell. Now, guys, remember, PowerShell will not allow you to do what you already cannot do based on your security. It just lets what you are allowed to do to be done a lot faster, which can be just as destructive if you're not careful. All right, so anyhow, guys, let me just create a little directory here. I'm going to create a customized PowerShell endpoint on this machine. Now, to do this, I'm using the new PS session configuration file, and I set it up for restricted server. This is actually the text file that describes what we're about to create. So yes, you could have done it by hand, but seriously, this is a PowerShell group, right? We're not going to do it by hand. All right, so here we go. Oh, by the way, just to show you before we set this up, remember Timmy, if I give Timmy access to it, Timmy has access to all these commands on that remote server. Just to kind of spell it out for you, Timmy will have access to 398 remove commands, 17 unregisters, 498 sets, and 234 news. What could possibly go wrong here? Exit. All right, we're going to go ahead and that text file we just created, which is right here, we're going to go ahead and use it as the guide to create a new connection endpoint called Help Desk. This is going to be the source of our ping. Show security scripter user interface. So I want you guys to think about this from the perspective of deploying this to massive machines in your environment. Right now, you should see a problem. It's a manual task.
Hey guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and sell it.
Right. So, don't worry. We got a workaround for this, but I do need to set this up because if not, I have to author these long security descriptor language strings, which are, it's just not happening. This is my cheat method. Temporarily, I'm setting up this endpoint on my machine. So watch this. I'm going to go ahead and add in the help desk members. Always remember to give them the execute permission as well, otherwise they have to type in their passwords and it kind of, doesn't go well, people. Okay, now let's take a look here. PS session configurations, give me the names. You guys can see right there, I have a help desk that I just created. All right, so let's go ahead and test this. I'm going to go ahead and get a credential object for Timmy just to make the rest of this demonstration go faster. $W0RD, real secure password. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to enter the default endpoint. That's one you and I go to. Timmy is not a domain admin. He's not a remote desktop user. He cannot remote in. But if Timmy says go ahead and log in or go access the other configuration endpoint. Now I'm doing this, guys, right here just simply so I don't have to have two VMs I'm switching between. So we are going to now authenticate under Timmy's credentials and cool. So let's see what Timmy is able to do. That, under a restricted server, is all Timmy currently has access to. Oh, darn. Huh. Let's see what else Timmy can do. Let's go ahead and do a clear-h tab. Tab completion is gone. As a matter of fact, even your comparison operators are gone. I can't execute get module. Doesn't even recognize it.
Shut 1 + 2.
1 + 2. We have really locked Timmy down, but unfortunately, as you guys can tell, Timmy can't do what I need Timmy to do. And I do need him to actually do something. So let me pop out this thing. There we go. All right. So anyhow, guys, let's take a look at the security that's on the primary, the normal endpoint. All right. Let's take a look at the security that is on the help desk one. You can see this one does have help desk members. That's why Timmy, who's a member of the group, can get in. This is what it really looks like. This is the security descriptor language used to describe whom is able to gain access to this, and I can see because of my screen. Let me pipe it out the format table, give it its wrap parameter, see if we can get that to wrap around there. Okay, not too far. All right, I'm also going to pull out the security identifier for the help desk object in Active Directory. And what oops, that's not what I want to do. Oh, I'm on my VM where I don't have zoom it on there. Okay, what I'm going to point out to you guys is this. Right here, notice the relative identifier of this object and the relative identifier of this security identifier. That's the help desk, okay? But to get this to work, look at everything that you had to type in here and know what you're doing. I don't know about you guys. I got far better things to do with my time. Now, I did include the two links that I did use to research this a little bit on how to manually create those lines. Now, being a PowerShell user group, the word manual should be considered file language, right? We're not going to do that. What we are going to do is remember this help desk endpoint that I created is only on my machine for this purpose and this purpose only. To grab that and put it into memory. Now that is what I'm going to be using for the remainder of this particular exercise. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that value and save it into a variable on my local machine. And I am on the domain controller right now, guys. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and create a new session, new PowerShell session out to server 1 so I can continuously send commands out to it. So this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm literally repeating what I just did. I'm going to create a little directory to hold my file in. I'm going to create that restricted server on server 1. I'm going to go ahead and create help desk 2 over there, but instead of show security descriptor SDDL, there's a parameter called security descriptor SDDL in which you have to type that string. We're cheating. We're going to pull that string from my machine, transfer it over, and this is the key on how you can deploy these endpoints rapidly. Now, Gia can do this as well. Now, so this is one of the questions I asked very early in my PowerShell classes. So who sells PowerShell 2? Okay. What's the minimum requirement on Gia? 3. Just nothing. It's 3 now?
I don't know.
Last time I checked, it was 5. So actually, I was sitting at PowerShell Conference Europe, going through my stuff, because of course Microsoft broke my session 24 hours before I went on stage. And Jeff Snover came in, we were having a chat, and he was wondering about that presentation. He asked me, why don't you do it on Gia? And I said, well, there's 2 other presenters doing it on Gia. What fun would that be? And I said, you got to understand, even though PowerShell 5, which was just released a few months before that point, so just because the new shiny object's out there doesn't mean people are using it yet. I said, oh, that's true. I said, yeah, I know it's true, because I'm the one that talks to them. So anyhow, guys, this will, again, Gia is a great product, but it's not going to work for everybody unless all your systems are out there on 5. This is how we cheat our way past Gia and get it all the way down to 2 if necessary. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to examine the endpoints on that remote machine. We can see help desk 2 is out there. Now, I am incrementing the number on these help desks because if I unregister them, I have to restart the WinRM service, reestablish my connection, and I'm just going fast for a presentation. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the security descriptor. There's that security descriptor, 3103. We've retained it. All right. And again, remember, 3103, that's what we're trying to use. So let's go ahead and try to enter a one-to-one session on that computer using Timmy's credentials. There we go. But anything usable, Timmy still can't do. So we need to fix this. Let's go ahead, because remember, we've only got this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, yeah, we can also list the commands that Timmy has access to. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in a commandlet that we're going to allow Timmy to utilize. So I'm going to add in the visible commandlets parameter. If I was in restricted remote server and I use this, all other command lists are going to be blanked out. So remember, you always want exit PS session available so that Timmy can back out. So we're going to go ahead and create a new configuration file on the remote machine. We're going to go ahead and use that to create Help Desk 3. And let's go ahead and enter Help Desk 3. We're going to run an unauthorized command. Let's try our authorized. Get command works, and so does get process. So we are able to use the commands that we allow the user to use. Back out. But let's talk about elevated credentials. Is this the right one? Let me make sure I don't go too far ahead of myself. Yep, okay. So let's talk about elevated credentials here. When it comes to our elevated credentials, if I need to give Timmy the ability to utilize a commandlet and it requires elevated credentials, but I don't want Timmy to be able to access the normal endpoints, what I can do is I can create a sudo account that will automatically elevate whoever passes through so they can do only what you tell them to do and nothing more. And what I'm seeing here is that, hang on here. Why is this still going out to server 1? I could have sworn I changed this code. Let me copy a new batch over. Either that or I accidentally didn't copy the new code over. Because this is supposed to reflect back to DC1 where this is going to work a little faster. Oh, good job, Jason. Looks like I crashed out my code and didn't resave it. Okay, so we're going to do a rapid change here. I'm going to run this off of DC1 to avoid having to do a lot of extra remoting stuff. So I'm just going to run these commands from here. We're going to run these things locally, so I'm going to create a new file over here on this machine. F8. And you can see visible commandlets will include get process, get AD user, and set AD user. Oh, there's one more I need to add in there. Yeah, my code did not save. Way to go, Jay. You do need to add one more thing to this. You guys can see how I am using commandlets from the PowerShell module, or the Active Directory module. In order for that to work, you need access to the Active Directory provider. Oops. Space backtick enter, right? Not comma. There's a version pipe. Oops. Providers. Active Directory. Let's go ahead and run that here again. We're going to do this on the local machine. I'm going to go ahead and register Help Desk 4 in the local machine. Oops. Again, I'm going to run locally. There we go. Okay. Now, actually, what I'm going to do here is we're going to leave this again on the local machine. So let's go ahead and enter a 1-to-1 as the default user. Oops, and I do need computering, don't I? DC1. All right, so of course, being the default administrator here, what I can do is, anything I want. Get AD user. Oh, I'm under restricted. AD user. Identity will be Timmy. Properties. I'm going to type that up there so I don't have to keep copying it. Properties was a description. And you can see description's IT intern. Let's exit out of that. Let me type that down here. Get AD user. Identity is Timmy. Properties. There. We'll need that here in a few minutes. All right. Now let's go ahead and go into Help Desk 4 under Timmy's credentials, and let's see what happens here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that. Oops, DC1. All right, and Timmy. Well, Timmy doesn't like that IT. Timmy wants to be the awesome IT intern. And we're going to attempt to run this thing. But Timmy has insufficient rights because I'm not going to give him direct access to Active Directory, am I? No. Okay, so this is how we're going to fix this little problem. Whoa. This is really embarrassing when my own code that I've updated doesn't even have the updated code. Wow, that's really cool. So let's go ahead and do this manually, guys. I'm going to pull from another file real quick where I originally had this code. because I have no idea why it's not working, because right here's the code. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a sudo administrative account, but we're not going to tell Timmy the actual username and password for this account. So here we go. Let me copy this over. We're going to create a new one. Yes, I know there's the username, there's the password. Live with it. This is just a demonstration. I'm going to grab all of this code here because we're going to need it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create help desk remote accounts, what I'm going to call this, HDRA. Term new AD user is not what? Oh, probably helps if I actually go to my domain controller, doesn't it? There we go. So let's go ahead and do a new AD user. We're going to go ahead and set the password. We're going to add this person, domain admins. Okay, again, normally I would not put this in that group, but just for speed of presentation. I'm going to go ahead and create a credential object with the password already typed in. So there, now you guys know the code to do that. And what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and attempt to connect in to, oops, we're going to go ahead and create, help desk 7. I'm going to change that to 6 because I left 7 open. Let's go ahead and do that on this local machine. There it goes. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we have here. We're going to go ahead and log in to help desk 7. So enter PS session on computer name DC1. Configuration name will be help desk 7. Was 7 or 6? Which one did I put it?
6.
6. Thank you. My credential. We'll use Timmy's credential and see what happens. Okay, there we go. So let's see what else happens here. Let's go ahead and grab that set command. I think I stored it up here. No, I stored it on the other session. Set AD user. We're still in the tab completion, not working. The identity will be Timmy. So this is why I have everything typed up beforehand. All right, and we're going to set the description to be awesome. That's going to be Timmy's new description. Let's see what happens. Ah, no error. Get AD user. The identity will be Timmy. Properties. Description. There it is. Now, Timmy, we did not give Timmy a domain admin account directly, but what happened is because we created this endpoint for a help desk, they just pass on through. So, who actually logged in then? Was it that account? Oh, good. At least this code stayed there. Was it that particular account, or was it a different account? Who's Timmy or HDRA? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and run this right here, and we're going to find out. Oops, I have to jump out of it. My bad. Exit. Because I am on this machine, and let me see here. Timmy, even though I had Timmy kind of pseudo bounce into a fake domain admin account. It's not fake, it's a real domain admin account. Timmy only was able to do what the commandlets I allowed Timmy to actually do. And it recorded Timmy as accessing the system as opposed to the fake account. Because you know, if you have a group account, you lost your accountability. When you lose accountability, you legally cannot hold anybody responsible for what happens on the account, which is bad. This way, we're still recording who's done what in your security logs.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, that is a neat little feature. The security team, especially starting, or not with 5, but starting with 3, more so in 4, and definitely in 5 and 6, the security team worked very closely with the PowerShell team to help create some of these neat little tricks that we can use. Because PowerShell was becoming the preferred scripting language of the hacker, the black hat. Okay? Speaking of black hats, anything you need to tell us? So anyhow, yeah, so it's a neat cat and mouse game between the hacking world and the defender world. As PowerShell played a major role, but this actually helped, especially with some internal attacks, because we have our ability to do transcription of everything people do in PowerShell now, which is really cool. At least they started that with 5. So anyhow, guys, that's what I got for you tonight on some little tricks on remoting. Hopefully you guys picked up a few things. before I send you that code, I'm going to find out what happened to my changes, and then I'll ship over to you the actual code for tonight so you can share it with everybody, okay? All right.
What I'll do is if you look at the calendar invite, or excuse me, the AZPosh, and look at today's date, I'll post the links for where they are on that invite. So if you're ever looking for it, you just go there. I'll say links from this session, and then put wherever the video is, and a couple other things. I'll just put it right on there. That way it'll be really easy to get to, easy to remember.
Well, I have this up. Is there any questions, or better yet, anything you'd like me to try?
Can you redo the first 30 minutes because there was no sound?
Are you serious?
I never got time to troubleshoot it, so oh well. I was troubleshooting on the fly as we were doing the session.
Okay, reset. Man, you broke my heart on that one.
Well, that's okay.
The
It should
owl
have been
has
here.
the owl thing has failed us.
No, it was OBS. That was misconfigured. The owl is perfect.
So where's the problem?
Mm.
There we go. I like this man. He takes responsibility. Wish more of my users would. Anyhow. Okay, well guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Tom, thank you very much for making it.
Well, thanks for making it. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I swear, I am trying, man. I'm just trying to show up for normal meetings so I can kick back and enjoy.
I don't have anybody lined up for next month yet. As such,
Any, many, money, mo. It's just speaker.
as such, it might be me, or if anybody has a topic they're passionate about, would like to share, just hit me up. We can add you to the schedule.
I can show how to hack United Airlines website. No, I'm actually serious on that one. But anyhow. Oh, please.
That easy.
I get free Wi-Fi on the plane. Wait, that's not recording, is it?
It's live streaming.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if there's any questions from online.
We're still streaming.
Yeah, just look for a little bit longer just
Yeah,
to make sure there's no
I'll
questions.
help clean up and do other things. So.
We have no questions.